I always believed I was safe inside my fourth-floor apartment. Deadbolt locked. Security cam in the hallway. Nobody could reach me up there, right? But that night, at exactly 2:13 a.m., I heard a scratching sound. Not from the hallway. Not from the door. It came from my bedroom window. At first, I froze, thinking it was wind or a branch. But I lived high up, no trees nearby. Still, the scratching continued. It was slow, steady, like someone dragging a nail across the glass. I pulled the curtain aside and saw a hook swaying gently in the dark. It wasn't hanging. It was hovering. Thin, metallic, curved like something off a butcher's wall. Just tapping, testing the glass. Then it paused, completely still, and a whisper came from the other side. But it didn't sound like it was outside anymore. "Let me in," it said, but it didn't come through the glass. It came from inside my head. A voice, but not human. More like static soaked in malice. Then the lights in my apartment flickered and died. And I heard the hook tap again, this time from inside the room. I grabbed my phone. The screen glitched. Froze. Dead. I turned toward the hallway. But something stood at the end of it. It looked just like me. Same clothes. Same face. Only it was smiling. And its eyes were empty. I don't remember how I got out. I woke up barefoot in the stairwell, blood on my hands. The police didn't believe a word I said. They said I hurt myself during a breakdown. But they couldn't explain the hallway cam footage. It showed me dragging myself back inside that apartment. Now every night, at 2:13 a.m., the scratching comes again. I moved cities, changed names. Still it finds me. Still it whispers. Still it waits by the window with that gleaming hook. And someday, I know I'll open it. Because part of me already did. I started sleeping during the day. I boarded my windows. Switched to a basement apartment with no view. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could outsmart it. But fear doesn't need windows. It needs cracks. And I still had mirrors. One night, I walked past the bathroom. Something made me stop. The mirror was fogged, even though no one had used it. And on the glass, clear as daylight, was a word written backwards. Let mine. No spaces. No mistake. Just that same whisper ringing in my ears. I smashed the mirror. Got rid of every reflection in the place. No screens. No glass. I even broke my TV. But something changed. It wasn't at the window anymore. Now it was in the walls. Scratching from inside, like claws under drywall. The landlord blamed rats. But I know rats don't laugh. One night, I stayed completely still, lights off, no movement. I wanted to see if it would stop. At exactly 2:13, I heard it again. Only this time, it wasn't scratching. It was breathing. I held my breath, pressing my ear to the wall. Something breathed back, wet, slow, and heavy. I could feel it behind the paint, right at ear level. It whispered, "You're already mine." And then a sharp tap echoed inside the drywall, like the tip of a hook. I ran again. New place, new name, burned my old ID. But it doesn't matter. I started seeing it in my dreams now. A mirror, a window, a hallway, all leading to one door. And behind it, me, holding a hook, smiling like it won. I called a priest. He refused to enter. Said something already did. A cleansing crew tried to stay overnight. They left before dawn, one of them missing an eye. I don't sleep anymore. Because when I do, I wake up at the window. From the outside. I stopped answering the door. Stopped using my name. I taped every vent, sealed every opening. But one night, I heard my door unlock itself. Click. Just once. And then silence. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Then my phone lit up. Unknown number. I'm inside. I screamed and ran for the stairs. But my building's lights were flickering again. Every floor I passed, the same thing. Windows shattered from the inside. Hall mirrors turned black. And in every reflection, my own face smiling back. But only mine had hook scars across the mouth. I reached the street barefoot, bleeding. Somebody saw me and called for help. The ER doctor said I kept repeating one word. Window. They kept me 48 hours for observation. Gave me meds. But nothing worked. Because even in that sterile hospital bed, the whisper came back. I begged for help. But the priest who finally agreed to visit, he didn't survive the night. They found him the next morning, curled in the chapel closet, eyes wide open, lips sewn shut with wire, and scrawled on the wall in his blood. Let mine. I tried ending it. Went to the bridge. Looked down at the black water. No more running. But as I leaned forward, I saw my reflection smiling up at me, holding that same gleaming hook. It shook its head, And mouth. Not yet. Now I see it everywhere. In car windows. In water puddles. On phone screens, even when they're off. Sometimes I see people staring back at me. With the same eyes. Like they're part of it. Like they've already let it in. I know this sounds insane. You probably think I need help. But if you've ever woken at 2:13 a.m. for no reason, check your window. If something's tapping, if you see a hook just waiting, don't look directly at it. That's how it starts. That's how it chooses. Last night, I tried recording it. Set up cameras, mics. I wanted proof. But when I reviewed the footage, it didn't show the room. It showed me asleep, from the ceiling corner, as if the camera had floated, or something else held it. The timestamp was 2:13 a.m. My body twitched, then sat up. My eyes opened, glowing white. I leaned toward the camera and whispered, "Let me in." Then, I smiled. Not like me. Like it. I blacked out after that. When I woke up, my door was wide open. The hallway was quiet. No wind. No sirens. No world. Just static in my ears and the taste of rust in my mouth. And something sharp pressed gently against my palm. I looked down. The hook was in my hand. It fit like it belonged there. No blood. No wound. Just perfect cold metal. Attached to skin that was somehow mine. And in the mirror behind me, nothing stared back. I haven't left my place since. People came knocking. Voices I knew. Friends. Family. Even a child crying once. But I know better now. It speaks in familiar tones. It knows your weaknesses. It waits. Patient. Eternal. You think you'd fight. You won't. Because the moment you hear it whisper your name, you'll open the window. Not with fear, but with relief. Like welcoming an old friend. Because by then, you've already let it inside. If you're hearing this and think it's just a story, look around. Close your mirrors. Cover your windows. Check your reflection. Does it blink when you do? Does it smile too long? If you've heard something like this too, leave a comment. I need to know I'm not alone. He knocked once. Then he knocked again. And both times, I answered. That's my biggest regret. I was house sitting for a friend. Big quiet place on the edge of town. It was supposed to be a peaceful week. Feed the fish. Water the plants. But someone else had plans. First night was uneventful. I unpacked, made food, watched some TV. At around 6 p.m., there was a knock. Just once. A man in his 30s stood at the door. No uniform. No badge. Just jeans and a strange, practiced smile. He asked for my friend by name. I told him my friend was out of town. The man nodded slowly, eyes unblinking. He thanked me and left. But something felt wrong. He never asked for a message. Never left a number. Never looked surprised to see me there instead. I texted my friend. He had no idea who that man was. Said nobody was supposed to stop by. He told me to lock the doors and stay alert. I laughed it off. Maybe just a mix-up. Maybe a neighbor. But in my gut, something pulled. A quiet unease I couldn't shake. That night, I stayed on the couch. Pulled the blinds. Double-checked every lock. Still couldn't sleep. Felt watched. Like the house wasn't empty. Like someone was just waiting for me to fall asleep. Around 9 p.m., it happened again. Another knock. Same rhythm. Same pressure. Same man. Only this time, I didn't open the door. I spoke through it. "What do you want?" He didn't answer. He just stood there. I watched through the peephole. He didn't blink. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just stared at the door for minutes. Then, without a word, he walked away. But I knew he'd be back. And when he returned, he wouldn't be standing outside. I couldn't sleep. I kept the lights on all night. The house felt wrong, off somehow. Like it had shifted slightly. The air thicker. The silence deeper. In the hallway mirror, I saw a movement. But when I turned, nothing was there. Just my reflection. Smiling. I stayed inside the next day. Didn't open the blinds. Didn't answer the phone. Even the fish tank looked off. The water darker. Like something else had been swimming in it. Something that wasn't a fish. At 8:13 p.m., my phone buzzed. No caller ID. Just a single text. "You let him knock twice." I dropped the phone. No one was supposed to have this number. No one knew I was staying here. Unless he'd been inside already. I checked the front door. Still locked. But the door frame had scratches, thin and curled. Like someone had dragged a claw around the lock. I backed away slowly. That's when I heard the knock. Third time. Same rhythm. Same pause. Not a coincidence. This time I didn't speak. Didn't move. Just stood behind the door and listened. He didn't knock again. He whispered. Not words. Just a wet, rattling sound like lungs full of mud. I think he was laughing, or choking, or both. The whisper slid into the walls. I could hear it moving, from the foyer to the hallway, into the vents, then into the living room, and finally, right behind me. I turned slowly. No one there, but the couch cushion was indented, like someone had just stood up. The air reeked of rot, and on the window beside me, written in fog, "Too late now." He'd gotten in, and I never even opened the door. The house was no longer mine. Rooms felt wrong, walls closer, ceilings lower. Time passed strangely, like whole hours vanished. I blinked, and it was suddenly 3:12 a.m. I blinked again, 2:13 a.m. Backwards, and someone was standing in the hallway. He was just a silhouette at first, but the closer he stepped, the more he looked like me. Same hair, same hoodie, same twitch in the left eye, except his smile was cracked open too wide, and he had no shadow. I ran to the bathroom, slammed the door, locked it, turned on the light, but the reflection in the mirror was wrong. It blinked before I did, moved its head after mine, and then it whispered, "Why are you hiding? This is your home now." I smashed the mirror again. Glass rained like needles. Blood soaked my knuckles, but I didn't feel pain, only cold. The same cold I felt that first night at the door, like something ancient had brushed against my spine. And liked it, I stumbled back to the living room. All the furniture was gone. Only the front door remained, but it didn't lead outside. It opened to another hallway, identical to the one I was standing in. And at the far end, he waited, smiling, holding the spare house key. I slammed the door shut, but it didn't close. It absorbed into the wall like it had never been there. My phone vibrated in my pocket. No screen, just sound. A voice. It said, "You live here now." We knocked. You answered. I screamed, but the sound came out delayed, like an echo from the future. I'm not sure where I am anymore, or when. All I know is the knocking never stops. Every night. Same time. Same man. But now, he's knocking from inside the walls. I don't know how long I've been here. There's no sunrise. No clocks, only that hallway, and the knock. Every night at 2:13 a.m., it echoes through the airless dark. I tried not answering. I tried hiding, but he still finds me. He always finds me. He no longer looks like me. He looks like everyone I've ever loved. Their faces, their voices. But the eyes, always hollow, always watching. He doesn't break in anymore. He waits for me to invite him. And I do, every time, because I'm tired. Tired of running. Tired of breathing in this thick silence. Tired of mirrors that whisper, doors that lead nowhere, rooms that rearrange behind me. This house is no longer physical. It's alive, and I am the parasite inside it. Sometimes, I hear new footsteps, someone else wandering, someone new answering the door. He's found another one, and for a moment, I hope that if he takes them, maybe he'll forget about me. But he never does. He only adds them to the walls. The pictures on the wall, they're not decorations. They're traps. Each one shows a different room, a different face, mid-scream. One of them is me. I blinked and saw myself framed in the hallway. Mouth open, eyes wild. Trapped in that frozen moment forever. I don't think I ever left. That first knock, maybe it wasn't at the door. Maybe it was from inside my soul. And answering it didn't invite something in. It invited me out. Out of my life. Out of time. Into him. So if you're house sitting tonight, and a stranger knocks once, then twice, don't answer. Don't speak. Don't even breathe. Because if you do, you'll hear your own voice whisper back, "Welcome home." And you'll know, it's already too late. I play games to escape, to feel safe, to shut the world out. That night was no different. I got home late, ordered food, and booted up my PC. No friends online. Just me, my headset, and the silence. Then, halfway through my match, I heard it. A knock. 3 slow knocks. I paused the game. Listened. Nothing. No one at the door. I checked the hallway, empty. Maybe a neighbor. I sat back down, unpaused, played another round. Then came the second sound. Not a knock. A click. From my bedroom. But I live alone. I muted my headset. Walked toward the door. It was slightly ajar. I never leave it open. The lights inside flickered, even though the switch was off. And on the bed, neatly placed, was my headset. The same one I was still wearing. I backed away, shut the door, locked it, told myself I was tired. Maybe I left the other headset out. Maybe I imagined it all. Back to gaming, back to safe. But as soon as I sat down, the screen blinked black, then white, then text appeared. Player 2 has joined. I wasn't online. I wasn't in co-op. And no usernames showed up. I unplugged my router. Still there. The message blinked again. Player 2 has joined. And then, a laugh. Not digital. Real. Behind me. I turned, empty room. The laugh stopped. Then the headset. The other headset began playing static. Sharp, glitching static. Until it resolved into something worse. A voice. Mine. Whispering. Why are you sitting in my chair? I shut off the PC. Yanked the power cord. But the monitor stayed on. And now, a face stared back from the screen. Not mine. Not human. Mouth open wide, unnaturally wide. The words typed slowly across the bottom. Your game is just beginning. I ripped the monitor from the desk. It hit the floor with a crack. Still glowing. The face on the screen turned to look up at me. That's when I noticed. The room in the background wasn't digital. It was my bedroom, down to the creased sheets and broken lamp. I ran to the bedroom door. It was locked. I never locked it. From inside, I heard breathing. Not heavy, not fast, just calm, controlled, like something was waiting. Then the screen behind me whispered again. He doesn't like being interrupted. I grabbed my phone. Dead. No battery. No explanation. I opened my closet to find my backup charger. But something was standing inside. Tall. Wrong. Its mouth stretched corner to corner. Inside, rows of keyboards instead of teeth. I slammed the door. Fell back. Heartbeat punching my ribs. Then my game restarted by itself. Booted up. Same game. Same match. Only now, my character was moving without me. Walking toward a door that hadn't been in the map before. I watched, frozen. The character opened the door. Inside was a room, a replica of my apartment. Every detail, even the cereal bowl I'd left on the counter. My in-game character looked at the camera and smiled. It was my face. The game glitched violently. Pixels shredded. The screen pulsed red, then black, and a final message appeared. You can't pause reality. I yanked the power cord again. The monitor finally went dark, but not the room. I turned toward the hallway. It was longer, much longer than before, and at the far end, a faint blue light, the same hue as my loading screen. The voice returned, behind my left ear this time. Next level unlocked. I walked toward the hallway light. Every step made the floor feel softer, like walking on keys instead of wood. The walls shimmered with code. My photos turned to pixelated faces, smiling, glitching, repeating one word. Play. I reached the light. It wasn't a bulb. It was a loading bar, floating midair, glowing blue. It filled slowly as I stood beneath it. A voice echoed through the hallway. Installing update. Host transfer. That's when I felt it. Something was uploading me. I screamed, ran back, but the hallway kept stretching. Endless. Identical doors on both sides, each labeled with a name. My name. Again and again. And under every name. Player 1, expired. I tried breaking one open. The door dissolved like sand. Inside was a version of me, sitting at a desk, gaming. Only he didn't move, didn't blink. He was frozen. His mouth opened in a silent scream. Eyes staring straight through me. I kept running. My legs burned. I turned a corner, and there it was. A terminal. Old. Dusty. Flashing green text. Press enter to continue. I didn't want to, but something behind me growled. Your turn. I pressed it. The screen blinked. The hallway disappeared. I was in my room again. Lights on. Sun up. Phone buzzing. It looked normal, until I noticed the mirror. My reflection lagged behind. It stared at me, then typed something on an invisible keyboard. My phone lit up. Text from my number. Thanks for letting me in. I blinked. The reflection was gone. But on my monitor, my face grinned back. Player 1 accepted. I haven't touched my PC in days. I unplugged everything. Smashed the monitor. Tossed the headset. But still, every night at exactly 2:13 a.m., the screen turns itself on, and the same words appear in glowing text. You're still playing. I moved apartments. New building. New router. No electronics in my room. But even the mirror now glitches. Sometimes I see loading bars in the corners. Sometimes I hear faint key clicks behind the walls. And sometimes, I see myself blinking at me from places I haven't been. Last night, I got a notification. Old system. No internet. Just one pop-up. Would you like to save your progress? Options. Yes. And no. ESC. None of them worked. The screen just stared. Waiting. Breathing. I smashed it. Again. But this time it bled. Not wires, blood. Thick, black, and slow, leaking from the cracks. And I swear, I heard it sigh, like I disappointed something, like it was tired of waiting. Now the lights flicker when I speak. My voice echoes wrong, like two versions trail behind. When I sleep, I wake up with controller-shaped bruises. My fingertips twitch randomly. And when I try to scream, sometimes my mouth doesn't open, because it's not mine anymore. I don't know where the game ends. I don't know if it ever did. Maybe this is the next level, a layer of reality beneath the one I left. Maybe I pressed enter long ago and forgot. Maybe I'm just an NPC now. Maybe we all are. So if you hear static tonight, if your screen flashes for no reason, if your reflection doesn't match, don't touch your keyboard. Don't check your inbox. And whatever you do, don't answer the pop-up. If you've heard something like this too, leave a comment. I need to know I'm not alone. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know which one creeped you out the most. And if you have a terrifying story of your own, share it down below. It might just end up in the next video, because your nightmare could become someone else's warning.